Maybe just 30 minutes alone with you can change everything. Not an hour, not a whole night, just 30 minutes. And if you let me have that time, you'll see a version of me you've never seen before. Imagine this, the door closes, silence wraps around us, just you and me, and in those 30 minutes, things you've only wondered about will finally be revealed. Because baby, I've been holding back more than you know. You think you've seen how much I care, but the truth is you've only seen fragments, the surface. What happens when I show you what's been locked deep inside? Baby, that's when everything changes. Picture it, the first 5 minutes would feel normal, almost casual. A few words, a glance, maybe even a laugh. But then, baby, the air would shift. The silence between my words would start to speak louder than anything I could ever say. You'd feel it. My eyes fixed on you, my voice softer, my tone lower. You'd realize this wasn't just small talk. It was the beginning of something you couldn't stop. The next 10 minutes, that's where the truth starts slipping out. I'd tell you things I've never said to anyone. Things I've kept locked away because I was scared of how powerful they sounded out loud. And baby, I'd watch your face as every secret left my lips, wondering if you'd pull closer or pull away. Then comes the next 10 minutes, where words no longer matter, where the air between us is thick, charged, impossible to ignore. Baby, I'd lean closer, not just with my body but with everything inside me. You'd feel how badly I've been waiting for this moment. How even the thought of you leaving when the clock runs out terrifies me. And in the final 5 minutes, that's when I'd risk it all. That's when I'd show you the part of me I swore I'd never reveal. Baby, son, those last few breaths, you'd realize why just 30 minutes with you can change everything. Because once you've seen this side of me, once you've felt it, you'll never look at me the same way again. But here's the thing. It's not just about me, it's about what you'll do with that time. Will you meet me halfway? Let me in, let yourself feel what I've been holding back. Or will you keep your walls high, pretending you don't feel the same electricity that I do? Baby, that choice is yours. And remember, 30 minutes isn't long, but it's enough to make sure nothing between us ever goes back to normal again. Baby, if you give me those 30 minutes, I promise every second will matter. Let me walk you through it. The first minute, our eyes meet. Nothing is said, but everything is understood. Your heartbeat quickens, mine matches it. The silence isn't empty. It's alive, filled with unspoken truths, waiting to burst. The next 5 minutes, I begin to speak, carefully, slowly, like each word is too heavy to drop all at once. I'd confess the little things you never noticed, how I memorize the way you move, how I replay your laughter when I'm alone, how I've written and erased 1,000 messages, just because I didn't know if you were ready to hear the real me. By the 10-minute mark, you'd already feel it. The shift, the air between us wouldn't feel ordinary anymore. It would feel charged, electric, like the room itself knew something big was happening. Baby, this is when I'd finally touch your hand. Not forcefully, not by accident, deliberately. And that touch alone would speak louder than hours of conversation. At 15 minutes, the truth would break free. I'd admit the thoughts I've kept locked away, the fears, the jealousy, the dreams that all revolve around you. Baby, I'd lay myself bare, daring you to see me exactly as I am. No shields, no masks, just raw, unfiltered truth. 20 minutes in, you'd start to realize, this isn't just me talking. It's me letting you into a place I've guarded from the world. Baby, you'd feel the weight of it, the depth of what I've been hiding. And you'd know without question that this is real, that I'm not pretending, that I've been waiting for this moment longer than I care to admit. By the 25-minute mark, It would no longer be about what I say. It would be about what you feel. Every pause, every breath, every glance would sink deeper than words. Baby, you'd understand that in those last 5 minutes, something irreversible is about to happen. And then, the final stretch, the last 5 minutes. That's when everything collides, truth, emotion, fear, and desire. That's when you'd have to decide, do you let yourself fall into this with me, or do you walk away knowing you'll never forget what almost happened in that half hour? Baby, that's the power of 30 minutes. And if you give it to me, I'll make sure you never see me, or yourself, the same way again. Baby, those last 10 minutes would be the heaviest, the most dangerous, the most unforgettable. Because in that final stretch, the walls I've been holding up for years would finally come crashing down. Minute 21 to 25. This is when I'd admit the truths I swore I'd never speak out loud. Baby, I'd tell you that I don't just want you, I need you. That without you, every win feels empty. Every day feels incomplete. Every night feels endless. I tell you how your absence has the power to break me in ways nothing else ever could. And baby, that's the kind of truth that changes everything. Then comes minute 26. The room feels smaller now. The air feels thicker. You wouldn't just hear my words. You'd feel them pressing against your chest, making it hard to breathe. Baby, I'd whisper what I never dared to before. That when I picture my future, there's only one face I see beside me, yours. And without it, my future isn't even a future. It's just time passing with no meaning. By minute 27, I'd confessed the darkest truth. The jealousy, the fear. The nights I stayed awake, wondering if you'd belong to someone else. Baby, I'd admit that it scares me more than anything to think of you in someone else's arms, smiling at someone else the way you smile at me. That fear is the sharpest knife I've ever felt, and yet it's proof of how deep this runs. Minute 28. This is when the silence would return. Not the kind of silence that's comfortable, but the kind that's unbearable. Baby, it's the silence that screams louder than words, daring you to respond, daring you to feel everything I've just spilled at your feet. Minute 29. My voice would break. My hands would tremble. Baby, I'd say the one thing I've never had the courage to, I am nothing without you. And in that moment, the room would stop spinning, because every single thing I've been hiding would be exposed. And then minute 30. The very last second. That's when I'd look at you one final time, waiting, hoping, terrified of your answer. Because baby, in that moment, everything, our past, our present, our future, hangs in the air between us, and only you can decide what happens next. Baby, after those 30 minutes, nothing would ever be the same. Because once the words are out, once the truth is spoken, there's no way to pull them back. And that's where the real test begins. Picture this. Your silence after my confession. It feels like thunder, even though no sound is made, every second stretches. And baby, I can't tell if you're about to run into my arms, or if you're about to walk out the door forever. That waiting, that stillness, it's more painful than any fight we've ever had. Baby, my mind races in circles. Did I push too far? Did I say too much? Or did I finally say exactly what you've been waiting to hear? That's the torment I'd be trapped in, and I'd be hanging on the edge, begging inside for you to show me mercy, with just one word. And then, imagine if your eyes softened, just for a second. Baby, that look would be enough to break me, because it would mean you haven't given up on us yet. But if your eyes hardened instead, if you turned away, baby, that single gesture would shatter me beyond repair. Here's the thing. In those 30 minutes, I'd hand you my heart, with no armor, no mask, no shield. And baby, It's the scariest thing I could ever do, because it gives you the power to either heal me or destroy me completely. But even knowing the risk, even knowing the outcome could crush me, I'd still do it, because keeping it all inside, hiding the truth, pretending everything is fine, it's been killing me slowly every single day. And baby, I'd rather lose everything than keep living a lie. That's why I said it. That's why I risked it. Because if I only had 30 minutes with you, I'd choose the kind of honesty that burns, the kind that scars, but the kind that proves love is real. Baby, this isn't about whether you forgive me or not. This is about you finally knowing the truth about who I am, how I feel, and how far I'd go for you. And once you know that, once it's out in the open, you'll never be able to see me the same way again. Baby, the moment stretches longer than I can bear. Every second that passes feels like a lifetime. I can almost hear the sound of my own heartbeat, pounding louder and louder in my chest, as if it's screaming for you to answer, begging for you to break the silence. But you don't. You just stand there, and that silence, baby, it's louder than any word you could have said. I keep asking myself, did I say too much? Did I finally cross the line where there's no turning back? My hands tremble, my voice shakes, and every breath feels heavier than the last. Baby, this is the edge I was afraid of. The place where honesty either sets us free or chains us to regret forever. And I'm terrified of which way this will go. Do you know what 30 minutes alone with you really means? It's not just a window of time, it's a doorway. Once I stepped through it and gave you everything, my fears, my mistakes, my secrets, there's no going back. That door is locked behind me now. And baby, the only key left is in your hands. I imagine two possible futures unfolding at once. In one, you reach out, you take my hand, and even though you're shaken by the truth, you choose to face it with me. In that moment, baby, I'd know that our bond is stronger than fear, stronger than anger, stronger than even the worst truths I could have confessed. And in that version of the future, love wins. But in the other, the darker one, I see you pulling away, not with words, but with your silence. I see you turning toward the door, choosing distance instead of closeness, walking away, because the truth I shared wasn't something you could carry with me. And baby, if that's the choice you make, then that 30 minutes will become the most haunting memory of my life. Do you see the weight of it now? It's not just me risking my heart, it's both of us standing at a crossroads, and every tick of the clock pulls us closer to that final moment where you have to decide. Baby, 30 minutes isn't long, but it's long enough to change the course of everything we thought we knew. The way your eyes flicker, the way your chest rises and falls, even the way your lips press together like you're holding back a storm of words. It all matters. Every tiny movement feels like a clue, and I'm searching desperately, baby, searching for a sign that I haven't lost you already. Because if I have, if you walk away after hearing this truth, I'll carry that silence with me forever. But if you stay, if you choose to stay, even for just one more minute, it means that love is bigger than the mistakes I've made, bigger than the fears I've hidden, and bigger than the truth that nearly tore us apart. Baby, I don't need an answer yet. I just need you not to leave. Not yet, not when everything we could still be, hangs in the balance of these 30 minutes. Baby, the silence finally cracks, and I hear the first sound of your breath before you speak. It's soft, but it's sharp enough to cut through the heavy air between us. That moment, baby, it feels like the world freezes. Like everything we've built, everything we've dreamed, everything we've feared, is about to be rewritten by the next words that leave your lips. I'm standing there, gripping the edge of my own fear, waiting, hoping, terrified. And baby, the look in your eyes tells me that whatever comes next will not be simple. It won't be easy. Because I see the storm inside you. I see the battle between love and doubt, between holding on and letting go. And it's tearing me apart to know I caused that storm. Your voice finally reaches me. And baby, it shakes. It trembles. Not because you're weak, but because the truth I gave you has placed a weight on your heart that no one should have to carry alone. And yet here you are, carrying it with me. You don't walk away. You don't slam the door. You don't leave me in silence. You stay. And that, baby, that means everything. They don't erase the truth. You ask me questions, hard ones I don't know how to answer, without breaking us further. Every question feels like a test, like you're measuring whether my love is strong enough to survive the damage I've already done. And baby, all I can do is tell you the truth again and again, because lies have no place here anymore. I can feel the minutes slipping away, the clock reminding us that 30 minutes was the window I asked for. But baby, these moments now, they stretch beyond time. Because what we're fighting for isn't bound by a clock. It's about survival. It's about whether love can breathe when truth tries to suffocate it. And as you stand there, eyes locked on mine, voice steadying as you find your strength, I realize something. Baby, maybe this isn't just about me confessing my truth. Maybe this is about you finding the truth of who we really are together. Maybe these 30 minutes are not an ending, but a beginning we never expected. Still, fear lingers, because even with you standing there, even with your voice breaking through the silence, I know one wrong word could shatter us completely. Baby, my hands shake as I reach out to you, not to hold you, but to ask you without words, will you let me stay? Will you give me a chance to rebuild what I nearly destroyed? Your eyes soften for just a moment, and in that softness, baby, I see hope, fragile, trembling, uncertain, but real. And in that tiny glimpse, I realize something powerful. Maybe the truth doesn't destroy love. Maybe it forces love. Maybe it forces love to prove itself real.